heard exclusively on TuneIn. You're watching us on Big 12 Studios. We are now joined by Cincinnati head coach Wes Miller, entering his 5th year for the Bearcats. And, Coach, you guys have been so close to putting together that breakthrough season the last 2 years. I know that at times, the last 2 seasons, I'm sure frustrations were mounting with how close you guys were. So how do you get over that hurdle and get some of those close wins?
Well, I think it's a layered question with a layered answer, but I'll try to answer it simply. I think, number one, we have to be as great as we can possibly be in the areas that we can control. We've had teams that were capable of taking a couple steps forward. We're talking about possessions, guys. We've been capable of that. We have to learn from that. We have to prepare differently for that. And we have to be so much better in the areas we can control that affect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possessions over the course of Big 12 play that can be the difference between, the kind of year that you're having. The other thing is that this league's just so awesome. I mean, it's so competitive. This is the best basketball league in America over at least a decade or more. You have to embrace what that means. You have to prepare for what that is. And I think after 2 years, we have a much better understanding of that.
Coach, we just talked to Kriisa, and we asked him specifically, why did you choose Cincinnati? You want to guess his answer?
I don't want to guess with Kerr.
Kerr's a loose cannon.
I'm smarter than to guess about what Kerr will say.
He said defense.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that either. And I was shocked because, he said he gave you a really high compliment. He said you make defense fun. And one thing that I noticed in your roster, when you look at Celestine, when you look at Kerr, when you look at even Mustafa, the shooting is something that's more prevalent. Was that something that you specifically targeted this offseason? Absolutely.
I think over the last 2 years, scoring as you get into the night after night grind in this league is very challenging, and that's for everybody. And that you have old smart players, you have elite coaching, so the schemes, the adjustments people make throughout league play are different than anything you're going to see night in, night out in non-con. You have to have enough skill in this league. You have to have enough decision-making, and we sought out to build a roster that had a different level of that.
I'm asking every coach, thoughts on zone defense?
It's so interesting that you asked that question. We've not practiced zone yet. I think about it every single day. I think for Cincinnati, in terms of our game, I'll leave that up to you guys as a whole. But for Cincinnati, it's going to be important for us that we have a secondary defense that we can play more consistently than just a throw out a 2-3 change of pace. I think all of us have some kind of 2-3 in it, a minimum every year that we can use for practice, or, hey, let's come out of a timeout and jump into it. But I think we need to make sure by the time we enter January, we have a defense we have confidence in that gives a different look, that we can play in some of these chess match games that you're going to face within league play. I've always believed this defensively. If your man-to-man foundational principles are elite, you're more prepared to build a secondary defense easily, right? So, because you have in any defense in the world, you know this, you got to move to the ball, right? You got to move in the direction of the ball. You got to load up to the ball. You have to be ready to play early in a possession. You have to have great initial position. You have to block out and rebound. You have to have active hands and great ball pursuit. If you can get your man-to-man really good and all those facets really good, you can put a secondary defense in within a couple weeks and get really good at it. So it's going to be a big part of what we're doing, even though we haven't installed it yet. But my goal is by January, it's something we have a lot of confidence in.
Okay, this is when the basketball nerd in me comes out, because I could talk a conversation like this for hours. So what, you said no 2-3, okay, so what secondary defense, not that you would put in, but just what secondary defense at this level do you think would actually work and actually be effective? Because as I think about it, I feel like coaches are so smart and there's so many good offensive minds that as I try to think of a secondary defense, I'm like, man, what would actually be effective to really slow you down a little bit? Because like a 1-2-2, I feel like would just be a little too easy for coaches to pick on if you get the ball to certain points. A 1-3-1, I think guards are too good. They can get the ball to the corners and they can swing really fast. So I'm trying to think like what secondary defense, don't give us your scheme or whatever, but what secondary defense do you think could actually be effective at this level?
No, and I think about it the same way you do. I think we all do. And I want to be clear. I don't mean you can't play 2-3. I just think some of us, and I'm guilty of this over certain years I've coached, you just know you got to have some zone in, again, just for preparation or just to change a pace. So you just throw in your high school 2-3 and let them figure it out, right? Like they're old, smart players. They can play. They played zone in their life. But I think if you're going to put in a secondary zone, it's got to have, no matter whether it's a 3-2 or 1-2-2, whether it's a 2-3, it's got to be more creative than that. Like I think you have to have some aspects of it that are
Different, unique
and different that make sense for your personnel or the things that you're trying to defend differently. So, and there's examples of that in our league. Like I think 2 years ago, like Scott Drew at Baylor would jump into it. It was a 2-3, but it was a very unique 2-3. I mean, they basically had 4 guys above the free throw line extended for most of the possession, right? I mean, you could throw the ball. They wouldn't let you get it to the corner, but you could throw the ball into the dunker area or those indecisive areas outside the paint. But they had Missy back there, and it was like he's like one of the best rim protectors I've seen in college basketball. And so you could get it to some spots on the floor that they wanted you to get it to, and it was like, so it was a 2-3, but it was extremely unique, top heavy, and then it really fit their personnel. Like there's an example to me of a very effective zone defense that wasn't just a change of pace. I mean, I don't have the numbers, but I feel like in the games we played Baylor that year, the 2 games, he played it 40% of the game at a minimum. And to me, there's value in that.
Coach, thanks for your time, man. We're excited about Cincinnati basketball for this season.
Yeah, thanks. I am too. Appreciate you guys.
Cincinnati coach Wes Miller here at Big 12 Media Days on Big 12 Radio, exclusively on TuneIn and Big 12 Studios. Back here on Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio, heard exclusively on TuneIn. You're watching us on Big 12 Studios. We're at Basketball Media Days talking Cincinnati basketball. He's King McClure. I'm James Westling. We've got Kerr, Kriisa, and Day Thomas. And Kerr, I want to start with you. How in the world do you still have eligibility? Like, I'm pretty sure you're older than King. You've been playing for a decade.
We probably the same age. We're close to it.
I guess these jokes never get old. Freshman year I got my COVID year back. Sadly, I got hurt last year, so everything is legal and by the books. So, but honestly, I'm just pumped. College basketball is something that you don't want to get, you don't want to take it for granted. And he knows that college is like, the college basketball is the best sport in the world, and I can't even compare that to NBA or any of that. It literally is just like its own sport. And I'm super blessed and grateful just to have another year, and
You were at Kentucky last year, took a medical red shirt. Before that, spent time at Arizona and West Virginia. What drew you to Wes Miller's program in Cincinnati?
Defense. Yeah. It was, Coach is very energetic. I kind of relate to him a lot. I feel like he can get the best out of me. I trust him with all bottom of my heart. And I probably, out of all coaches that I've played under, he's like the biggest defensive-minded coach. And this is something that's very interesting to me because he's actually made defense play fun. Like, it's fun to play defense, and I used to hate playing defense. Like, this is a real thing. Like, and I mean, Data knows that. Data's been there 3 years. And for me going to Cincy, like, you always like try to look at the roster who's already there before, especially nowadays when people go in and out. Yeah. And obviously, like, I played against Data, and I know what a dog he is. So, I mean, I hit up even Data before on Instagram, just like, trying to understand if that would be okay with me going there in terms of, like, trying to win it big. And I just kicked it off, and, yeah.
You know, I actually find that answer interesting because, like you said defense. I wasn't expecting that because you've never you're a talented player, elite level passer, great shooter. I've never known you to be a defensive stopper, but I think this year that's something that I think Wes Miller will really be able to push you to that level. But I really think that this is one of the most underrated backcourts in the Big 12. That really isn't getting any love. So let's go to Day. You know, you were probably highly sought after in the transfer portal, but it's rare to see a guy stay at the same school, especially in today's day and age, for as long as you've been in Cincinnati. What is it about Cincy that has kept you there?
I really say Coach Miller. You know, Quest. We got that relationship on the court and off the court. You know, just going to his house, just chilling, eating food, watching TV, and games with him. So I just say the relationship I got with him. I trust him. He trusts me. So that's the biggest thing.
Day, I think the last 2 seasons, Cincinnati has had so many close losses where if just a couple of things go your way, you're easily in the NCAA tournament. So how do you finish those games this year?
Just the small stuff we work on in the summer. That's all that come back around when it's playoff time. You know, just trying to finish the game, do the little things, the win, like rebounding, just extra possessions. You need in the game to finish. So that's the big thing. Just trying to finish out the game.
You know, with both of you guys being dominant ball handlers, how have you fed off each other in practice?
I think Day is like one of the best in the conference in the country getting to the rim. So, I mean, honestly, I played a lot off the ball now, and I'm getting like wide open catch and shoot, just the rim pressure that he puts on, driving the ball. So, I don't really need the rock to kind of impact the game. So, yeah.
I just go out whoever close to the ball, get the outlet, and the other guy just run. Kerr one of the best guys in the country, pushing the ball to the court, so I'll just be trying to run and let him get all the outlets.
Yeah, I feel like Kerr is a guy that when you play with him, he makes the game easier for you just because he always sees things. He's a really great passer, and he can really shoot the floor. So I feel like that's something that you necessarily haven't had in the backcourt with you, right? You had a talented guy last year, but he wasn't really a knockdown shooter who could really space the floor. How much of a difference have you seen in that with Kerr being in your backcourt mate as opposed to last year?
Just a lot. It's a lot of space on the court now because you got to guard Kerr because he can really shoot the ball. And, Kerr, he like to play fast, so I love to run the floor with Kerr while he pushing up. And, I always try to make it easy for him also just getting paint touches and getting him open shots. So.
Kerr's a newcomer on this Cincinnati team. Day, you've been here for a while. What differences do you see with this basketball team from last year's team? I mean, King touched on it a bit. Your backcourt running mate was Jizzle James last year. Now you've got the guy sitting next to you. But collectively, how is this team better?
It's an older team, more mature. A lot more leadership on the team. Everybody hold each other accountable. So just standing with each other, make sure we're doing the right thing, playing Cincinnati basketball.
So when you look at it, Kerr, I know that you've been in a lot of places, but I'm interested because you've seen so much, right? What is one thing that you can take with you, that you've taken with you, that you can implement on this year's team because you've seen so many different programs and seen how coaches do so many things? They played for so many good coaches. What's one thing that you have taken with you that will never leave you?
I think the biggest thing is just really being together. If I look at the past, my best teams and how the coaches have approached is like it's gonna snow, like it's gonna go south at some point, but just the fact that how do you respond to that as a team, and locker rooms can get pretty bad in terms of one guy is not happy with him playing minutes, and then he just starts talking in the locker room, and then everybody is kind of everybody goes sideways. So just the kind of how to face the adversity, because it's gonna come. Like it's Big 12 basketball in conference. Like you're not gonna go undefeated. Like unless, you're not gonna do it. So just the adversity part. But yeah.
Kerr, when you were at West Virginia, you were kind of a villain in the Big 12, and I mean that in the best way. Like you're a fiery guy. You run your mouth, get the fans all fired up when you guys are on the road, and I love that aspect of your game. Is that something you take pride in, or is that just all natural? That's just who you are as a person. Take us through your mindset and trying to get in the fans and the opponent's head.
Yeah, no, that's just who I am. I'm just a competitive person. In practices, like, when you go play small drills and you win the drills, like I get pumped as much as I get in the games. So that's really just who I am, and I'm never thinking like I'm gonna run my mouth so I can just people can say that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not even like really thinking about it. I'm just being myself. I love hooping. And like I said earlier, like college basketball is the most freaking fun thing in the world, and I want to just take the maximum that I can take out of it.
All right, you two guys being the backcourt mates, the veteran leaders, give me a name on your team, a guy who is going to, that you've been surprised with, or a guy that is going to surprise and wake up some people this season.
Man, I could give a lot of. I let Dede go first because I'm just deciding between 8 of names right now.
Nah, it's a lot. But I'll say that's gonna really stand out. I think Sean, just because he's young, he see the game, he know the game, his passion for the game, and what he brings to the team. And, I'll say Sean. Sean gonna be pretty good this year.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna go with your guy from Jalen Celestin. I think he brings great leadership to us. He's like hell of a shooter, a very underrated driver. Knows the game, been around college basketball, and look, like college basketball is like you need that now. You know, this one and done and cute stuff. Like this is over. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like the older team you have, and you have guys who buy in, and it's usually easier to get older guys to buy in. The probably better you're going to be.
You know, I think that's interesting because you talked about Celestine and his shooting ability. It seems as if that was a big emphasis in the offseason when you look at getting guys like you, Celestine, even Mustafa can step out and shoot the tray ball. Is there a lot more spacing overall in the team dynamic now when it comes to shooting?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, you know, the driving lanes are going to be open just because you have so much shooters on the floor at the same time. And like you said, I mean, Mustafa, he hit one in the scrimmage that we just played, and it's more fun to play like this too. Like, yeah, we're going to guard our ass off, but like if you get shooters, like that's the nowadays brand of basketball.
Cincinnati basketball cannot wait for the upcoming season, guys. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Kerr, Kriisa, Dede Thomas, Cincinnati Bearcats looking to get back to the NCAA tournament this year. After a 7-13 Big 12 mark, they began last season 10-1, had a huge win over Xavier. We'll see what the season looks like for the Bearcats here soon. This is Big 12 Radio on TuneIn, and you're watching us via Big 12 Studios.